Anita Donlon is with the Australian Horizons Foundation and Let's Get Rural. Hello Anita, how are you?
I'm excellent, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Now we are here at Truckies Against Bullying.
We are.
Of which you are involved.
Yes, we are.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, look, Sandy and Andrew Lattin have just done an amazing job bringing a vision alive. And last year, the foundation saw the vision and we've collaborated since then. The Australian Horizons Foundation is based up in far north Queensland. And it was actually started by a third-generation cattleman up in a little tiny town called Georgetown. Some of your viewers may even know of Georgetown. So John Bethel is our founder. He breeds Brahma cattle. He's a truckie. He's right in the mix of rural Australia. And back in the late 90s, when there was the drought, the flood, the fire, Cyclone Yasi, and then the live cattle export ban, which we all know the effect that had on the country,
sure,
city and country, he decided with another lady who unfortunately has since passed away that they had to pull their community together. And they did that. Fast forward to now, it's now a national foundation. They've raised over $4 million and given it to other community groups and not-for-profits and charities on the ground to be able to basically help rural Australia. And it's not just the farmers. Everyone goes, we've got to save the farmers. Well, we're all about working with everyone who is the glue of rural Australia, everyone from truckies to the small businesses, the pubs, obviously the farmers, but everyone that plays a part in feeding our country and moving our country. So mental health is a really big thing for us, or I like to refer to it as mental well-being. And when I was a board member, they invited me back in 2016 to join the board and help take it from a little tiny to a national foundation. And we've since done that. And while I was a board member, I decided that we needed a social connection project to actually bring people together. Instead of having the glass half empty and talking about the suicides and the bank foreclosures and the hardships, we have to celebrate each and every person out there in a rural community doing their bit for our country. So that's where it was all born. And Let's Get Rural is now all around the country. We raise funds through 1000paddocks.org. We don't get government funding because the way we see it is that if each and every person out there can actually donate $5 or $10 or however much to actually help us help other people, then we've got a sad society if we can't get to that point. So it's all about mates helping mates. We go into rural communities with our ambassadors. We had Jesse Jackson, Huck Richards, we've got comedians, we've got Cavey and Brett Hunter, and of course the legendary Party Animals. They all performed here last night. And we basically go to rural communities, we connect in with the public and we say to them, look, we've got this much money, we're going to be coming into your town, bring your community together and have a good night out. Because if we can start doing that to people and actually mates, coming together with mates and understanding that they're not the only ones in that problem,
yes,
in that space.
Yes.
So, and on top of that, what we do is we also, by default, we have what we call Mates Line. And so through the work that I do with mental health, we basically help people out. We just have a chat to people. If people need to have a chat, whether it be online or on the phone, people can just give me a call and talk things through, because that's all that mental health is all about. It's about talking through a problem, because a problem is only a situation you haven't found a solution for yet. And once you actually share something with someone, whether it be a fellow truckie in the truck stop or whether it be down the pub or in the yard, it doesn't matter as long as you're actually talking and you're understanding you're not alone.
And how do they get hold of you?
They can go to Let's Get Rural on Facebook, letsgetrural.org, which is our website, or they can go to 1000paddocks.org if your viewers would like to chip in $5 or $10 or however much.
Yep.
We like to say thank you to people who actually support us. We have got things like, at the moment, this afternoon, a little Kawasaki mini bike will be given away to a lucky donor. We have ongoing, we have a win either a $700 or a $300 IGA shopping voucher. So every time we hit that 1000 paddock mark, we'll draw it. So it's an ongoing. So we like to say thank you for helping us so we can help our mates.
And where did you first hear about Truckies Against Bullying?
Social media. I'm from Bendigo. These guys are from Bendigo.
Oh, okay. Step in here, Andrew. Right, so both from Bendigo?
Yes, Bendigonians, yes.
Bendigonians.
No, I'm from Adelaide originally.
Well, so am I. That's the irony of this. I grew up in a small town on a farm, and by the time I was 13, I saw too much. And my story is actually online on Beef It Up Australia's YouTube, and people find it quite interesting. But this guy, when I started to talk to Andrew and Sandy, the synergies that we had was just, I don't know. It just
brothers
happened.
in arms.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So to speak. And when we first spoke, Anita was here for our first event last year. Did an absolutely amazing job with the video of the convoy.
Oh, thank you. I'll pay you later.
And the photos and everything that she did with it. Anita rang me 3 weeks out from the first truck show and said, I'd like to interview you, I'd like to get the video footage. And I went, done.
Actually, I tell a lie. Tones from Tones Truckin' Stories is one of our ambassadors. And he actually said, do you know what's going on in Bendigo? It just got to me. I'm tired, sorry ladies and gentlemen, but that's actually how.
Yeah, and the way the Anita's helped us, and then she came to us 6 months ago and said the Horizons Foundation would like to align themselves, ask me to ask you if you'd like to align yourself and be a part of the Australian Horizons Foundation. Let's get rural Australia. And I went, we're there.
Because the synergies are the same.
The Australian Horizons Foundation and Let's Get Rural Australia stand for exactly what this truck show's about. We're about the families coming out. We're about the families getting around the trucks, seeing what the trucks do, seeing what our drivers do. And that's what Let's Get Rural is about. They're about the families and the mental health and the well-being of the families within our communities.
And bringing hope. Hope is the really big thing, because if we can all have hope, sorry to interrupt you there, but if we can have hope in our life and believe in ourselves and know that we're not alone, and that's what I loved about what we're all about and what this is all about.
The thing that people and the general public don't see is that us guys in the trucks, we're sitting behind the wheel for 12, 14 hours a day by ourselves. But there's a lot of the truck drivers out there now that drive, especially when you see them doing grain harvest and tippers. Those poor guys are driving a truck, they're running a farm, and they're looking after their family. So they're not just doing 12 hours behind the wheel. They go home, they look after the farm, they manage the farm, and then they might spend 8, 9 hours one day in the harvester. They might spend 10 hours in a tractor. Then the next day they're spending 14 hours in a truck to get their harvest and get the crop down to town. To make sure that the families in towns like Bendigo, St Arnaud and these places can eat. It's that simple. And they have an economy. Bendigo and people in Bendigo, if they actually really take a good look at Bendigo, Bendigo is a rural hub for towns like St Arnaud, Newbridge, Kamarooka, these smaller towns that are surrounding Bendigo. All those people come into this town to get their supplies.
So you're right. They're what we call our feeder towns in our world. They're our feeder towns that all these, as Andrew was saying, all the small communities come to for their services. But the biggest stigma that is out there is it's always the truckie's fault. If there's something happening on the road, it's always the truckie's fault. B, people go into a supermarket and they'll go, oh, that just arrived here. Like, they don't stop and think about if they're going to buy that milk, a family has actually milked that cow, a family has actually picked up that milk. There's always families behind our products that we have.
Of course.
On the other side of the coin, the stigma that we have of farmers and truckies, they're always whinging. We hear this all the time in the cities, and the apathy is so rife. And that's where I think the negative impact actually starts happening in our rural communities. It's like, well, no one cares about us. And that's the important thing of what we do. We arrive as strangers and leave as friends, all because people donate to us. It's 100% tax deductible. We don't have flashy offices. We don't have flashy cars. We don't have wages. We are all volunteers. So It really upsets me when I see big organisations getting the government funding and people just flock to them and give them the money, whereas with us, we're not like that at all. And I just would like to say to your viewers, next time you've got a spare $5, have a think about Andrew's family, my family, all of our volunteers that are helping other families.
It's a good thing you're doing.
Thank you.
This event here, it was quite scary. Well, not scary. It was quite
Overwhelming?
overwhelming this morning. I had a 9-year-old child come in and say to me, "How much did the government pay for this?"
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got these young kids out there today,
Yeah.
they're 10, 12 or 9 years old, that think that these sort of events get put on by the government. And when I said to him, "No mate, I'm the organiser," and his parents went, "So the government," I said, "No, the government didn't do anything. This has all come out of, from sponsorship."
Your heart, your pockets, and the few
My heart,
that
my
have-
pocket.
And I get that as well. People say, "Oh, you must be on a good wicket," because our social media, between the two of our social medias, we're very active. When we go out and about and do stuff, even when I go and do welfare checks on people, can be 100 kilometres away, people say, "Oh, you must be on a good wicket," and I go, "Well, actually." I go and talk to my accountant. He keeps telling me, "Anita, you've got to stop doing this." It's like, no, we'll stop caring when we're 6 foot under.
Yeah.
And would you like to come and help if you think
Yeah,
you're on a
that's
good
right.
wicket? And then you'll find out that we are not.
Look, and
Like
it's
all
like-
these things, too few people having to organise far too much.
Yeah,
and it's an age-old story, you know, and whether it's a truck show, whether it's something like Truckies Against Bullying, or what you're doing with the Australian Horizon Foundation and so forth. You know, there's too few people that are doing far too much, and and any help is always appreciated.
I was just about to say, if you watching this would like to come and join our tribe, you are more than welcome.
It's like the other slogan that these guys have got, and us Truckies know this slogan too well. They do that. You donate $10. That's a mile that they can do to bring a smile.
Yeah.
That $10 brings a smile. That $5 is going to bring a smile.
We've done over 300 communities since we started. I've done over 1,000 welfare checks, and that's everything from people calling me. I've had I've got that many stories, I won't go into them, but everyone from truckies to farmers sitting on their tractors just having a meltdown, and their family contacting us saying, "Can you come and help?" I will tell you that this one story. I actually sat in the header with a farmer. I went through a packet of cigarettes, he went through a packet of cigarettes, he was drinking water, I was drinking water, and the only way that I was able to get him out of that situation, after big long chats and he downloaded, I said, "Mate, I don't know about you, but you can go and slash on the wheel, but I got to go to the toilet, let's go to the pub," where all of his mates were who contacted us because he was a single man. And we went to the pub and he broke down crying. And he felt ashamed because he did that. The problem that we have is it doesn't matter if you're male or female, people feel ashamed because they're opening up their hearts.
It is extraordinarily hard in this day and age still for people to open up, more so for blokes.
Yeah,
and that's why our messaging...
And kids hold stuff in too, as you well know, Andrew.
Yeah, and like to all of our guys out there that they're going to see this, and us guys on the road, we all know, in the last 8-10 months, literally, basically every week, we've been averaging a suicide in our industry and in the farming communities due to the pressures, the harassment, and everything else, because the guys out here don't open up. They're suffering severely from their mental well-being, and they feel like it's on top. And next thing we know, we're pulling them out off a rope, we're pulling them from a paddock, we're pulling them from somewhere.
And you're right, because
and that family's suffering. And then it's not just that family that suffers, it's that community that suffers.
Yeah,
that's lost that man. Yeah. It's our industry that suffers, because that guy that's just taken his own life has not only got his family, but he's got a family on the road. We're as truck drivers that stand together, that are standing here today with us. They're all part of a family. Our industry is a family. We're all a brotherhood, sisterhood. We all have brothers, and that hurts all of us. And that affects all of us. Because we sit there and go, why?
Our founder has one very special message, and that is let distance not divide us. And that's a very, very important message. I've got to stop talking, otherwise I'm going to cry.
Thank you very much, guys. It's great stuff you're doing.
Thank you.
As I said just before, too few that have got to do too much. So if anyone can help, $5, $10, throw in $2. It doesn't matter.
It's 100% tax deductible.
Just to help.
That's the big thing.
And remember, there are a lot of small guys out there that are trying hard to do good things for you.
Yeah.
And it's not just the big organisations that you see advertised day in, day out on TV who ask you to send $10 or $15, or some of them want 40, which is beyond the pale. Remember these small guys who are on the ground and on the ground locally that could use your help. Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
your time.
And thank you for watching.
Yeah.